New story in Sharon and Phyllis' relationship. When the truce is threatened on the show, The Young and the Restless, the relationship between Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers has always been one of the dramatic highlights, not only because of their strong, unique personalities but also because of their long history of conflict. Over the years, these two women have often confronted each other, but recently, they have unexpectedly reached a surprising truce. However, in the turbulent world of Genoa City, can this fragile relationship hold, or will something else break this temporary peace? The tension comes from Nick Newman. Nick Newman has always been an important factor in the relationship between Sharon and Phyllis. Both have deep feelings for him, and Nick himself is the source of many endless arguments. Although Nick has rejected Sharon in a new relationship, that is not the end of his love story with Sharon. In fact, there is no guarantee that Nick will not succumb to those passionate feelings, especially when he finds himself facing a strong attraction from Sharon. Meanwhile, the relationship between Phyllis and Nick is equally complicated. Although they have broken up and had fierce arguments, the emotional connection between them always exists implicitly. Phyllis and Nick have a deep history, and sometimes, their reunion is just a matter of time. If Nick and Phyllis decide to reunite, Sharon will not only feel betrayed, but she may see her relationship with Nick and Phyllis fall apart completely. A dramatic love triangle could erupt, causing the truce between Sharon and Phyllis to break down in the blink of an eye. Power struggle in the Newman family. Sharon and Phyllis are rivals not only in love but also in power struggles. Both have a strong influence on Nick, and the division of power in the Newman family is always a hot topic. Sharon is always trying to maintain her position in the family, especially when she maintains close relationships with family members, especially Noah and Faith. Meanwhile, Phyllis is constantly trying to rebuild her influence after past failures. This power struggle will create increasing tensions between the two, especially when neither wants to let the other dominate the Newman family. When Sharon begins to find herself being pushed out of the Newman family circle because of Phyllis's presence, she will not be able to keep quiet much longer. Phyllis's actions and decisions will inevitably cause conflict between them, and Sharon will have to take steps to protect her position. This could lead to a new conflict, which could derail their efforts to rebuild a peaceful relationship. Third-party interference. In addition to Nick, Sharon and Phyllis will have to deal with interference from many other figures in their family and lives. Other members of the Newman family, such as Victoria and Victor, have their own opinions about personal relationships in the family, and this could create unforeseen conflicts. For example, if Victor discovers that Sharon is no longer a rival and Phyllis has become dominant in the family, he may create situations where Sharon and Phyllis are forced to confront each other directly. Furthermore, friends like Nikki and Jack can also interfere in the relationship, putting more pressure on Sharon and Phyllis to maintain harmony. When an outside force is involved, their relationship will have a hard time maintaining peace. Sharon and Phyllis's career progress. Sharon and Phyllis also have their own goals in their careers and lives. Sharon is gradually asserting herself in her work and personal life, while Phyllis is facing challenges in her company. Failures or successes in work will force them to reconsider their approach in personal relationships, and this will increase the tension between them. One of the easiest ways to break the truce between Sharon and Phyllis is through work. If Phyllis is given an important project or an opportunity for promotion, this will threaten Sharon's position and create a new power struggle. When one of the two begins to feel threatened in their career, conflicts in personal relationships are inevitable. Sharon and Phyllis don't always have to be rivals. Some believe that rebuilding a peaceful relationship between the two could have huge benefits for them, especially if they can put their personal differences aside for the common good. If Sharon and Phyllis can understand and respect each other better, they could become allies in the Newman family and help each other through life's challenges. Regardless, Sharon and Phyllis's relationship is full of surprises. From emotional struggles, to interference from family members, to major decisions in their work and personal lives, their truce could easily be threatened. However, it's also possible that a major change could bring them closer together, making their story continue to be a highlight on The Young and the Restless. In the volatile world of Genoa City, the truce between Sharon and Phyllis may be just a brief moment before the next storm. Can they truly end their feud, or will they fall back into a vicious cycle of never-ending conflict? The answer will only be known as new situations arise and important decisions are made. But one thing is certain, the confrontation between Sharon and Phyllis is never over. In The Young and the Restless, the development of relationships is always at the heart of the story. One of the relationships that fans are paying close attention to and hoping for is between Sharon Newman and Daniel. Can these romantic feelings blossom after a painful and tumultuous past, or will it all be an illusion when the wounds of the past have not yet healed? In particular, the appearance of Phyllis Summers in the story will make everything much more complicated. This story promises to be an emotional journey, where forgiveness, love and jealousy confront each other. Forgiveness between Sharon and Daniel. The relationship between Sharon and Daniel has gone through many ups and downs. From Sharon's mistakes in the past to the appearance of characters like Ian Ward and Jordan, relationships on The Young and the Restless are never simple. Daniel, although hurt by Sharon's actions, also realizes that what Sharon did was not her fault. Sharon's actions were only the result of external factors. People like Ian Ward and Jordan are the ones who are truly responsible for what happened to Heather. As Daniel matures over time and tries to forgive Sharon, he not only wants to overcome his grief but also find a new path for himself. This feeling may lead to him realizing that the feelings between him and Sharon are not just a part of the past but can be the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. In particular, Daniel's forgiveness of Sharon will be the most important factor in moving this relationship forward. It is important that Daniel and Sharon no longer see each other through a suspicious lens, but instead as friends who have shared so much pain and joy. It's a solid foundation for them to rebuild their relationship from scratch, but is now the right time for romance to blossom? Romantic feelings are slowly growing. If Sharon and Daniel truly open up to each other and give each other a chance, their relationship could develop naturally. Both Sharon and Daniel have wounds from the past, but it's those wounds that bring them closer together. Sharon, with her past mistakes, is now a more mature woman, ready to face the truth and correct her mistakes. Daniel, after all the hardships, has also learned to forgive and find peace in his life. For Daniel, love is more than just attraction or fleeting romance. It's a love that has been tested and proven over time. Sharon can bring Daniel a sense of security and peace that he has never found in his previous relationships. These romantic feelings may blossom slowly, but they are also romantic and deep, giving them the opportunity to build a new life full of promise. This will certainly bring a big change in Sharon and Daniel's lives, as they begin to realize that their love can overcome all difficulties. This is an opportunity for them to overcome the past and move forward together, creating a hopeful future. Phyllis and uncontrollable jealousy. However, if Sharon and Daniel really get together, Phyllis Summers will definitely not be happy. Phyllis, with her strong personality and constant fight for what she wants, will never let Sharon have Daniel's affection without a response. The love between Sharon and Daniel will not only be a matter of two people but also a big fight for Phyllis, who has always considered Daniel an important part of her life. Phyllis has a past with Daniel, and she has always considered him an indispensable part of her life. If Sharon and Daniel become a couple, this will threaten Phyllis's freedom and control over Daniel's life. Phyllis will not let Sharon take Daniel easily, and this will definitely spark a new war between these two women. Phyllis will constantly try to sabotage Sharon and Daniel's relationship, maybe even using shady tricks to separate them. Phyllis will not only have to deal with Sharon but also with her intense feelings and jealousy for Daniel. This will create a constant battle on The Young and the Restless, as Phyllis struggles not only to protect her relationship with Daniel, but also to maintain her place in the Newman family. If Sharon and Daniel do indeed overcome these challenges and come together, their relationship will certainly not be a smooth road. They will have to face not only challenges within their love but also challenges from outside, especially from Phyllis. This relationship could bring dramatic struggles between the characters on The Young and the Restless, with intrigue, betrayal and difficult decisions. However, it is also possible that these difficulties will make the relationship between Sharon and Daniel stronger. They will have to learn to trust and support each other, and if they overcome these challenges, their relationship will become stronger than ever. Will Sharon and Daniel really find happiness? Ultimately, the question is whether Sharon and Daniel can overcome all the challenges and build a lasting romantic relationship. Their love will not be easy, but if they can overcome their deep emotions and past wounds, they can create a strong and hopeful love. However, Phyllis will certainly not let this relationship go unchallenged. The fight between Sharon and Phyllis will not be easy, and there may be bigger conflicts in the future. But if Daniel and Sharon are truly meant for each other, they will have to find a way to overcome it all and find happiness in a new life filled with challenges and drama. Sharon and Phyllis's relationship is in big trouble. Faith and Lucy's involvement on The Young and the Restless. The relationship between Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers has always been one of the most dramatic and intriguing. After years of conflict, Sharon and Phyllis have finally reached a truce. But can this fragile peace last, especially when new factors and situations beyond their control begin to emerge? One of the plot twists that could cause major changes and disruptions to Sharon and Phyllis's relationship is the involvement of their daughters, Faith Newman and Lucy Romalotti. These two girls have been through a lot of turmoil and complications in their families, but if they get involved in a new mess together, it could be enough to shatter the understanding that Sharon and Phyllis have established. Sharon's daughter, Faith Newman, has had to deal with emotional and family issues more than once, especially in her complicated relationship with her mother. The young woman has strong emotions and can sometimes get caught up in situations she cannot control. Meanwhile, Lucy Romalotti, Phyllis's niece, is also not lacking in determination and a strong personality. Despite her young age, Lucy is not afraid to confront the adults in her life, especially when she feels that her loved ones are being threatened. If Faith and Lucy get into a new trouble together, perhaps one that neither of them could have foreseen, the consequences could be far beyond what Sharon and Phyllis could imagine. Both mothers will have to stand up for their daughter and granddaughter, and this will certainly create serious conflicts between Sharon and Phyllis, who have tried to maintain a peaceful relationship. Reasons why Faith and Lucy's situation could cause conflict. This situation could start with a random event, perhaps an incident at Faith's school or an incident involving Lucy in her personal life. Faith could be caught up in a dangerous situation that she cannot handle alone, and Lucy, with her bold nature, would not hesitate to help her best friend. However, when things get out of hand, Phyllis and Sharon will be faced with protecting their children, and they will inevitably find themselves on opposite sides of the conflict. This could cause a deep rift between Sharon and Phyllis, as both are very protective of their daughters and will not allow anyone to threaten or harm them. If Lucy and Faith get into trouble that hurts one of them, Sharon and Phyllis will be faced with a dilemma, whether to remain loyal to their children or maintain the peace they have built together. A breach of peace between Sharon and Phyllis. Although Sharon and Phyllis have tried to maintain peace after years of Cold War, they still cannot fully trust each other. Although their relationship has improved, protecting their children will be the deciding factor that can break this peace. Phyllis will always protect Lucy, who is her own flesh and blood, and Sharon will not stand by when her daughter is in danger. This situation can occur when Faith and Lucy accidentally hurt each other in an argument, leading to serious misunderstandings. If Sharon and Phyllis can't resolve their issues properly, the cracks in their relationship will reappear, and they will face each other in new battles. Although Sharon and Phyllis once held out hope of maintaining peace, there is shocking news that can change everything. For example, if one of the girls is in real danger, such as Faith or Lucy being implicated in a major scandal or a serious accident, Phyllis and Sharon may no longer be able to maintain peace as before. Dangerous situations that could lead to conflict. A dangerous situation can arise when Faith or Lucy becomes a witness in a case or accidentally discovers a secret that neither wants to be revealed. This can lead to them facing threats, forcing Phyllis and Sharon to stand up for their daughters, which will strain the relationship between the two women. Sharon, with her experience as a mother, will do everything to protect Faith, while Phyllis, with her strong and decisive personality, will not hesitate to do the same for Lucy. Both will be faced with a decision: will they continue to maintain the truce and protect their children, or will they fall into a new war? When both women are too protective of their children, this will inevitably lead to confrontation. A war not only between Sharon and Phyllis but also a war to protect the children they love. The consequences of the confrontation: will peace be maintained? Faith and Lucy's involvement in complex situations will create unpredictable shocks. The difficulties that the girls face will not only be their personal problems but also related to the relationship between Sharon and Phyllis, who have had a difficult past. The girls' involvement in dangerous situations could be the last straw, breaking the peace efforts that Sharon and Phyllis have built together. The relationship between Sharon and Phyllis has made great strides, but there are always potential risks that can break everything. Their overprotectiveness of their children can lead to tension and confrontation, which will create dramatic situations on the young and the restless. The question is, can they overcome all the difficulties and maintain a peaceful relationship, or will this relationship once again become a battlefield of endless conflict? On The Young and the Restless, the relationship between Sharon and Phyllis will always be full of challenges. With Faith and Lucy joining the drama, the battle between these two women will continue to be intense and unpredictable. Will they be able to protect their children and maintain peace, or will they be drawn into a new war? Time will tell, but one thing is for sure, The Young and the Restless will not be short of unexpected situations and drama.